in front of the screen.
This is our first workshop. We had them yesterday, and for the parents, it's the first workshop. We would like to welcome Ms. Mythily and Ms. Nandini, who will be talking to us today, and
Meg Lupin.
Meg Lupin, who will talk to you today, and so that you get an insight about our children and about ourselves also. So, good morning, and she's in the US.
Recording live, so it's night for them. So she goes first, then we will do that. Yeah. Can you put the camera here so that you can see what? Yeah, Meg, you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yes, and your voice is projected out. Everybody can hear Meg.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
So you're facing the group. You're on.
Okay. Okay. Blessings, everyone. And I'm so happy to be here. I'm in Laguna Niguel, California right now, but I'm not. I'm really in the room with you right now. The kids have been bugging me for the past hour with all these messages that they want you to know. First off, they want to thank you. They want to thank you for being their moms and their dads. They want to thank you for what they call this fun ride and an interesting challenge that they brought forward for you. And they want to, so one of the big messages that I've been saying for years and years around this whole thing is that our children are our teachers. I have a son who's 28 years old, and when I was pregnant with him, a very wise man told me that my child would be my teacher. Well, little did I realize that that was going to be, you know, an international message that would be told, you know, for years after. And so the children are really want you to know that they're happy, even though sometimes in their body they're very disturbed, they're distracted, they're maybe perseverating on something, doing it over and over again. In general, they are happy. They're frustrated in the way that we communicate. They're frustrated sometimes that they can't communicate. Not that they can't, but they can't to you. And part of the reason why they can't is, and I don't know what kind of sense of humor you people have, but they're saying part of the reason why you can't hear is because you aren't trying. And what that means is just that you think you can't hear. And the children are saying that you can hear. Everybody can hear. And part of the reason why they've come in like this, with these challenges and what I'm going to call their challenges to us, because they aren't the way we're used to. They're trying to change the school systems. They're trying to change the way that you think and operate. And one of the biggest things is around being lighter and having a lighter sense of humor and not taking things so seriously. And looking at the kind of the comedy in the situation, or the and what happens is what they're calling for is deep inner work for you, all of you. This is for teachers. This is for parents. If you're doing deep inner work on yourself, where you're looking at what are my trigger points, what is making me frustrated in my life? Am I happy? Am I depressed? Am I not showing a good sense of humor? If you're doing those things and looking at them and saying, well, I'm far too serious, okay, that will help you to be able, because it helps them. Because what they're doing is they're picking up your energy. So as soon as they're acting a certain way and you start getting anxious or nervous, they immediately pick up your energy and they try to change it. And then what happens is now they have their own energy and they have your energy, your anxiety, maybe your fear, whatever, something's going to happen. And they've just piling on all this energy. And then the next thing you know, they can't contain themselves. Some children are operating like that. Other children are just sitting back quietly, not saying anything, and just taking all of the negative energy or things people don't need right to themselves. And they might be fine for hours. And then at some point in the day, they get very upset. So some of the solutions for these types of what I'm going to call erratic behaviors are being in nature. Nature's a healer. In Japan, there's something called Shinrin-ruku, or in America, we call it forest bathing, where you actually go into the woods, the forest, with intention, and you're just in there being. And what happens is there's natural healing sap and other things that come from the trees that go inside us, that naturally calm us down, that naturally ground us, that naturally ground the children. And so it's really important to have nature time. It's important to be barefoot. It's important to, if you're inside and there's no way to go outside, or maybe there's no place near you, water. You can wash hands in the sink. You can take a shower. And I always teach all the kids, all the negativity and anything that's not your energy goes right down the drain with the water. And I teach them that. The other thing is they can put their hand on the wall. If you put your hand on the wall is grounding. It will calm things down and let things bounce through that. And then the other thing is becoming a tree. All the roots go down through your body and into the ground, and it helps to balance you and bring you back into center. We have a child at Lotus Foundation that's always doing this with their mouth. And believe it or not, I was taught by Dr. Hector Garcia in San Diego, California, that this is part of the reason why we do have this as prayer hands, is because this, any kind of duplication of the midline of our body grounds us and balances us and brings us right in through the earth. And this child was constantly doing this. And basically what she was doing is teaching us, you know what, you should be doing this. This helps to ground you, it helps you to balance yourself and bring yourself into the midline of your body, where all things are possible. Miracles can happen when you're centered in the middle of your body. And the other thing that's really huge for them is meditation, which when I say the word, a lot of people are going to be absolutely ridiculous. There's no way, my child. There's many types of meditation: walking meditation, music, just playing music. That's a meditation for some of the kids. And the music is really key. There's certain tones, there's certain noises, there's certain voices that are sound healers. Your teachers are sound healers. They're sound healers with their voices. As parents, we can be irritants. And the reason why we're irritants is because they don't want to be told what to do, and they feel safer in their own house, and they don't maybe want to follow directions or do what they're supposed to. In school, they might listen better. Then they come home and they give us a handful, It's because, they're tuning to their teachers and they're matching energy with their teachers. As parents, we have more invested in it. We want them to behave properly. We want them to be more acceptable in society and maybe do this activity or that, and they can't yet. So Weston, who's one of the boys that I voice for, wants you to know that every single child, every single person, no matter what their ability is differently abled. They all have gifts. They all have gifts. They all have healing gifts. They all have purpose. They're all teachers. And they're all here to bring joy. They're all here to teach the language of the heart. They're all here to teach us how to listen differently. And I'm supposed to tell you a little bit of my story of how I first realized I could hear. This boy was, his mom was sitting in front of me at a conference, and anyway, she heard another lady ask me if I could help. Her son was having a lot of anxiety and was getting in trouble in school. And I told her I do Reiki, which is a healing modality, an energetic healing modality. And I said, of course, I'd be glad to help. And then the lady next to her spun her head around and said, you know what? I need your number. Long story short, that night, and she told me her son didn't speak. And that night I was brushing my hair in my bathroom, and I thought I heard this voice going, hi, I'm Weston, and I'm going to meet you, and all this stuff. And I was brushing my hair thinking, am I lost my mind? And then I thought, well, you know how you think you're going to have a conversation with somebody? I thought maybe I'm just doing that. So I just forgot about it. And the next day I get this phone call, and it was this mom, and she said, hi, I'm Weston's mom. I just wanted to know if Weston contacted you last night, because I called the two other people that can hear him, and they both said it wasn't them. So I thought maybe it was you. And I was like, maybe. I didn't know. And so 3 days later, she brought him to my office, and she sat in front of the door, and he walked in, and she said, ask him why he doesn't speak. And I was so nervous, because I thought, oh, what if I can't hear? What if he doesn't say anything? But I said, Weston, why don't you speak? And Weston said, and I could hear him in my heart is the best way to describe it. He said, when you speak with your mouth, you can lie. When you speak with your heart the way I do, you can't lie. Why don't all of you learn how to speak like me? And that's what I told his mom. And she was like, okay, kind of shocked. And so what ended up happening was Weston has been on this kind of worldwide mission to empower moms and dads and empower teachers and empower me to do his going on work, because Weston sits in his house without shoes in Southern California, and he doesn't speak a word, but he sends out messengers, and he talks to Nandini, who's going to speak, and he talks to Mythily, who's going to speak, and he gives messages of love and messages of hope and things for people to do to help them. So one of the other things that is really helpful is the environment where the children are. The less busy, the better. If too many things are happening and going on, it's very distracting. Essential oils are very wonderful. They calm the spirit. They cross the blood-brain barrier. Yoga, essential. And a lot of people are like, I could never get, children will follow. At the Lotus Foundation, I was amazed at the yoga sessions that they were doing. The kids were amazing, and people were helping, of course, and they were getting in certain positions, because yoga will also help them with their breathing. It will help them to detox their organs, because there's a lot of detoxification that needs to happen. And the other thing is not putting them in a box. And what that means is, and this is very hard to do, I can tell you, because as a parent, I know, let's say there's a situation where you can see it's starting to brew, that your child usually reacts in a not good way. Don't put them in the box that this is what's going to happen. See them doing it differently. Give them the benefit of the doubt and start thinking this time it's going to be different, and redirect them into something else before it gets deep into something that's very difficult. Maybe they start getting amped up or out of control. Redirect the energy. And then definitely don't match energies with them, because when they start getting anxiety plus your anxiety, not a good. Try to stay grounded and centered, and try to redirect that energy. And the biggest thing, kind of the biggest message around all of this is love. They're here to teach us really how to love unconditionally. Love heals all. We've heard this in a million different places, but it really does heal and balance us and center us. And if we're operating out of compassion for the children, and we're operating out of a space where we can see them doing the right thing. My children went to a Waldorf school when they were young, and those teachers every night pray for the children and see them in their best light. They aren't praying for my son who was, throwing sand at all the kids or whatever. They were seeing him when he was helping his friend. They're seeing them in the best light. That's what we should be doing as parents. See them in their best light and celebrate that and promote that and make a big deal when they're doing the right thing. And then when they're not, redirect. I know there's a lot of new information out there about autism. There's a lot of really good detoxes and detoxification. There's proof that these essential oils work. But the biggest thing is love. When they feel loved and they know they're loved, they will be able to ground themselves and be present. One of the biggest things Weston told me is that the hardest thing for them is to be here, because they're still, if you kind of think of it like this, they're still floating in a spiritual world. When we bring them down and make them do this or do that, it's hard and cold to them. They'd rather be floating around up in this world where it's all about love and they don't have to do anything, and there's relaxation and there's fun, and you know what I'm saying? It's a big party kind of energy. But as people, we're like, okay, to make them have a job and make them functional, or make them happy. We want to try to get them more grounded into this world so they can function and be here. So that's kind of the resistance. And the other thing is about having a sense of humor. It's hard for me when I'm in it, but afterwards, some of the things that happen are hysterical. And Weston's saying, if you can get yourself to that place of, okay, this is kind of ridiculous, and I'm going to make this fun. And it's very funny because I discipline completely different than my husband does. I'm more serious. Well, you may not realize it, but I'm more serious, like, okay, we have to get homework done and blah, blah, blah. And my husband will come in and they'll be like, I'm not doing homework or whatever. And my husband's like, yeah, okay. And he makes some joke. And the next thing I know, my son's doing his homework, So everybody responds differently. So it's trial and error. It's seeing what will be best serving for them. And the two ladies that you're going to hear next have really focused. When I went to Lotus Foundation, I've never seen a place run so amazing, and children moving into the different areas they needed to be in, and knowing what they were going to do next. And then as soon as somebody was about to do something, somebody would swoop in and redirect. It was beautiful. And in America, you don't get to see that because they still try to make everybody sit in a seat in a classroom and have to have, pay attention. It's not. So anyway, that education is the only thing that hasn't changed in 100 years. We've got new cars, we have newfangled everything. Well, now, and I don't know if you guys have heard, in America, there's a huge uprising happening right now, and some people are calling it a revolution. And 3 guesses who's leading the revolution. 17-year-old high school students at that school. There was a mass shooting, and they're not taking it anymore. And they marched to the Capitol, and now they're going to be meeting in Washington, D.C. at the Capitol. And it's unbelievable because huge movie stars, including Oprah and George Clooney and everything, have donated millions of dollars to help to get this to happen. And I'm not advocating guns or anything like that. I'm just saying that it's the kids that are making the difference. And if they can't do it one way, they're going to do it another way. So Weston's saying, enjoy your ride. He's very blessed to know all of you. So am I. The other thing is I'm hearing from the children, only the very special people get to have children that have autism. It's the lessons of patience and love and compassion that you all possess and that you're working on right now that are going to help them to what I'm going to call wake up. And this is so cute. I don't know who this is, but it's a little boy, and he's saying, we can all wake up together. This is an awakening. We can all wake up together. So if you just think of it, you know who it is, Nandini?
Yes. In the school.
Okay. Yes, he's in the school. Yeah. So, so anyway, I'm just blessed to be here, and I'm blessed to know you. And Weston wants us to do a healing tonight. Where I am is nighttime. So in the morning, when it's your nighttime, my morning, your nighttime, we're going to do a healing for all the children in that school, for all the parents in the school, and all the teachers in the school, that should allow you to let go of what he's calling generational issues, karma, all kinds of, he's calling it heavy energies that you've been carrying around, and it will release from you and make you more free to do what you need to do on your mission. So thank you so much. I don't know, Nandini, if you wanted me to say anything else.
The boy's name is Vansh, and Vansh means lineage.
There you go. I love it. Okay.
So he's so much in a part of bring us here, to bring you here, and you didn't know this story, but here you are speaking the same thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Jayashree is the person who is running this organization. There she is. Hi, Meg. Can you see me?
Yes, blessings. Thank you so much for the good work that you do there. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Yes, my honor.
This means a lot to us, especially
Good.
parents, if they hear that something good is going to come out of all the efforts.
Yes,
I'm sure they'll
yes,
be much lighter than what it is.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You for being here.
Well, their efforts are definitely going to pay off. That's for sure. Thank you.
And if you have any questions, if you're not understood, I will explain later.
Meg,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you.
Love you.
Love you.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, talk to you soon. Bye.
Blessings.
I'm going to stop recording now and I will go off the meeting. Thank you.
Blessings.
Bless.